Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to The Pulse. We are coming to you live from our studios in Kokumleme on your digital terrestrial TV because we are free to air on DSTV channel 421. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Don't forget that we are also live on GoTV channel 144. This afternoon, Fix the Country convener Oliver Baka-Vomawo charged with treason felony. We have details as the accused has been remanded into police custody due to the severity of the case. We'll also hear from supporters of Oliver Vomawo who are demanding his immediate release.
Devastating what is happening in the country now. Ghana is a democratic country, we all admit to that fact. But what is happening now, Ghana is turning to be a banana republic. What is happening now is too much.
Meanwhile, government says security agencies are on high alert to deal with any act that threatens the peace and stability of Ghana.
Living in this country called Ghana to go about their normal duties without any fear, because I have so much confidence in our men in uniform. They are prepared to protect this country.
Also this afternoon, Chief of Lamishago demands the immediate release of 6 people arrested in his palace following clashes between angry youth of the area and the police in the northern region. We are live on the grounds for updates. And a little later as well, Ghana Bar Association takes on Medina MP Francis Xavier Sosu over his comments that seem to suggest that some judges are politically influenced. And chocolate sales boom this Valentine's Day. We will hear from some traders and shoppers who are upbeat about the season of life.
The chocolate business is really booming. It was slow last year, but sales this year is good.
I am Blessed Sugan. The Pulse is brought to you by Global Communities Digny Lu, affordable, safe sanitation. We are streaming on YouTube and all of our social media handles. It's at JoyNews on TV. Tweet at us with the hashtag The Pulse. My personal handle is at Blessed Sugan. Always a pleasure to serve you. Well, this afternoon, government said security agencies are on high alert to deal with any act that threatens the peace and stability of the country. The caution comes in the wake of fresh charges of treason felony leveled against a leading member of the Fix the Country movement, Oliver Baka-Vomawo. Today, Mr. Vomawo was picked up last Friday after he took to social media to threaten a coup. Here's court correspondent Joseph Akable with a wrap of today's proceedings.
Justice is not served. Justice is not served. May the cause of this land rise. Everybody deserves the same treatment as a country.
We want a new Ghana. That's the only thing we are asking for. A new Ghana.
DSP Sylvester Sari informed the court that some time ago the police received a complaint that Fix the Country campaigner Oliver Baka-Vomawo intended to incite persons to engage in a coup. He said investigation did reveal that he indeed carried out this incitement on social media. So this is what formed the basis of the charge of treason felony leveled against him. Mr. Baka's lawyers, led by Akoto Ampao, informed the court that as far as they are concerned, the police had breached his rights in that they failed to put him before court within 48 hours. And the response from DSP Sylvester Sari was that they had attempted and reached out to the Chief Justice's office to find out if there was a court that will sit and hear the matter on Sunday, but that was not successful. Hence, the decision to bring him to court on Monday. So Mr. Baka's request for bail was turned down and he was remanded into police custody to reappear on February 28. As some of his colleagues at Pitch Camp here have been sharing their thoughts with us.
Yeah, it's so frustrating. It is very devastating what is happening in the country now. Ghana is a democratic country, we all admit to that fact. But what is happening now, Ghana is turning to be a banana republic. What is happening now is too much, okay? And the youth of Ghana, you can see from the people that Ghana is rising. The youth of this country are saying they are not happy with whatever that is going on. Akufo-Addo is the father of the land. And if indeed Akufo-Addo call us all as fellow Ghanaians, we have risen. And all we are saying is justice must be served. Coup does not mean you are going to vote against the government. They should go to the constitution, what they call the dictionary, and check the meaning of coup. He never said he's going to organize a military coup. Oliver Barker is not a military officer. Oliver has never had any military training anywhere. He just made a comment that he is going to organize an e-coup. What is e-coup, Mr. Bawumia? Which comments, Mr. President, haven't you heard in this country?
He said.
You said it yourself. What is the meaning of all die be die, Mr. President? What is happening now in this country is sending this country in a ditch.
Based on social media, you can use social media to judge someone. Because the state, some of them may send a message, you know. I'm influenced, I'm mabo, I'm anonymous. Be a drug addict, collaborate me and send the message. And he said, Mr. IGP, say IGP, echo basic only on social media. Any over
Sure, thank you.
Because
thank you. So thank you.
The starter about sending message, you know. Who needs situation pakrom? Be a no.
For JoyNews from the Ashaman District Court, my name is Joseph Akable.
Well, earlier today, pressure group One Ghana Movement released a statement cautioning the police to ensure professionalism in handling the case. They are demanding that the country convener, Oliver Barker Vomawo, be accorded his full rights under the Constitution and treated with human dignity. Well, joining us via Zoom now is Justice Abdullah. He is a member of the Management Steering Committee of the One Ghana Movement. Thanks so much, sir, for joining us. We also have the Deputy Defense Minister, who will be joining us very shortly as well. We'll introduce all of them to you. And one of the members of the Fix the Country movement will give us the latest with regards to Oliver Barker Vomawo. But let's start off with you, Justice Abdullah. In one breath, you are calling on Ghanaians to be mindful about the statement they put out there in regards to issues surrounding coup d'etats. And you're stemming all of your claims from what is happening in the Sab region. But on another hand, you are then going ahead to you're then a bit going hard on the Ghana Police Service for not respecting the rights of Oliver Barker Vomawo. So which of these claims do we stick to?
Sorry, hello.
Well, Justice, I'm just asking about the
Yes.
various streams of argument you're making in one statement that you've released earlier this afternoon. You are, on one hand, asking the general public to be circumspect in their speech, and on another, you are asking the Ghana Police Service to accord Oliver Barker Vomawo with all the rights that he deserves. So which one do we stick to? Well, it appears that we're having some challenges connecting to Justice Abdullah. Very shortly, we'll have him on. But fortunately, the Deputy Defense Minister, Kofi Amankwame, is also joining us. In fact, he stated earlier today that government will deal with any act that threatens the peace and stability of this country. Many thanks, sir, for joining us. So first of all, you have condemned the statements made by Oliver Barker Vomawo. There are claims that he did not refer to a military coup. How do you respond to that?
Well, thank you very much. It is laughable when people seek to give different meanings to what a coup is. I mean, we all live in this country. We all know what a coup is. And what the gentleman said, making even reference to the military and saying that the military is useless. What again do we need to measure what he said? We must be serious and choose serious as we can. I have been following. In fact, I am on my way. I traveled a little bit. I'm on my way back to Accra, and I have been following the goings just as I switched on to your station. In all fairness, I believe that yes, this country is being governed by laws. We have a constitution that we govern this country by. And so the gentleman must be accorded all the rights that is entitled to. That, no two ways about that. And nobody, I mean, really, that is what has to happen. He must be accorded the right. But people must begin to appreciate the fact that we have laws in this country. I mean, if you saw the interview granted to some people at the court premises, people saying that, yes, depending on the state you are in, you can put out anything you want. And now people are saying he meant equal and all that. If he meant equal, then I think that he also meant armed forces. If that is what he is saying, it is laughable. The laws in this country must work.
You are at the Defense Ministry. Obviously, you are mindful of what's happening within the SAP region. There are concerns that you are gradually radicalizing the Fix the Country movement, and that could have dire security implications for the country. How about that?
I would disagree with that assertion that we are radicalizing. Nobody is radicalizing the country movement. They have the right within the ambit of the Constitution to do whatever they want to do. But they must be mindful also that the Constitution that grants them the right to do whatever they want to do, the same Constitution also has some checks and balances in there to really check what every Ghanaian does. I don't think we are radicalizing, but the fact of the matter is that the laws in this country must work. And if the laws in this country are working and we think that amounts to radicalization, then really I don't even understand. Then there shouldn't be laws.
Well, if I could help you a bit, there are many people who are out there reminding you of some of the recent attacks on not just civil society groups, but also the media as well. How we see a crackdown on free speech. That's the criticism that's always facing or staring government in the face.
Again, I would disagree with those who think there is a crackdown on free speech. You are a journalist working in your studios and working within the laws. I don't think anybody has come to you. I don't think anybody has even called you to question why you are practicing journalism. I don't think that is what it is. But if you go out there and incite people to topple a democratically elected government under the pretense of whatever, because you disagree with the government, I don't think that is the way to go. I don't think so. We have a country. If you disagree, the very things you disagree with the government.
We seem to be having some challenges with the Deputy Defense Minister there. But if you can hear me, we'll try and re-establish the lines there. Also joining me this afternoon is Brownson Adachi. He's a member of the Fix the Country movement. So Brownson, you had the Deputy Defense Minister there indicating that there's no crackdown on your group and that irrespective of the fact that you have constitutional grounds to do what it is you're doing, you need to be mindful of the laws of this country.
Okay, so this is it. We understand that the security agencies and the forces would have to do their works as well. But there would have to be some sort of ideological contestation over the context of Oliver's post. Now, I understand that there have been resurgence of coup d'etat in the West African countries or in the African regions these days. But it is the mere mention of coup, the mere mention of the word coup, because Oliver stated that if the e-levy is passed after the e-cake, whatever, he will lead the coup himself. Now, what does he mean by that? We've not had an ideological contestation over the contest. And we have concluded, because we are living under our own shadows and we are afraid of our own performances in government. So we think everything that people say means the other way around. Now, Oliver made some posts before, some other posts before that particular post. And in that post, he clearly stated that Fix the Country is working together with other tax experts outside the country or international tax experts and then international lawyers to go more deeper into the e-levy fiscal policy. Now, and he stated that if the e-levy bill is passed, then he is going to work together with those international bodies to have a clear cut of what should be done. And he stated there that this is a huge coup. Now, what does it mean when we say coup?
Well, the internet appears not to be too favorable for us today. But let's go back and see if we have Justice Abdullahi on. Earlier, he was joining us to explain what it is that the One Ghana movement intends to do about this. Justice Abdullahi, if you're on with us, so on one breath, you are asking the police service to accord Oliver Barker-Vormawor with his rights that he deserves under law. And on one hand as well, you are also cautioning the public to be mindful of the statements they put out there. Which of them do we stick to?
Indeed, we stick to the various positions that we have addressed. We are attempting to address this whole issue holistically by indicating to the general public that being responsible citizens, we all have a duty to protect our democracy. And as part of those duties is to ensure that we use more decent words in addressing our issues. We use the appropriate legal procedures that are available in advancing our argument. And where we have disagreements with authorities, we should adopt those laid down procedures rather than using procedures that could result in conflict or any other thing that would not inure to the benefit of the Ghanaian. So that is our first position. Our second position is that regardless of the crime that a person is alleged to have committed in this country, the police and other security agencies owe all of us that same responsibility for which reason they arrested the person, to ensure that the person is accorded his full constitutional right. Now, we said this because we noticed that Oliver had been denied access to his lawyers and indeed to his family and friends. And as far as we are concerned, that is highly unconstitutional, it is undemocratic, and it is indeed against any principles of rule of law. It is a cardinal principle in our constitutional democracy that every person, once arrested, be given access to his lawyers. Indeed, it is part of the procedures in arresting a person. And so for the police to deprive him of that right, for us, we condemn it in totality. And we insist that being a citizen of this republic, he must be accorded that right. And then our last position is to the entirety of Ghanaians, that we owe this country a duty to not only protect the fundamentals of our republic, i.e. the constitution and all other things that put our welfare together as citizens of this country. In addressing our concerns, we should ensure that we do so with the civility that it requires and follow the legal laid-down procedures. This is the only way we can develop our country. It is the best way we can develop our country, and not to incite passion and flame, and indeed conduct ourselves such that it would then motivate someone to do the untold. We do not think that is the most appropriate thing to do. And addressing Oliver's issue directly. Go ahead.
Obviously, the concerns that you have with the Ghana Police Service is not stemming from a vacuum. There's some suspicion that you have.
Absolutely not.
Is it the case that you suspect that government is gradually cracking down on free speech? At least the Deputy Minister has denied that. What's your take on that?
Oh, with respect to that aspect of this issue, even though that's not the point of this discussion, we indeed believe that there is a systematic way that the government is attempting to gag not just media personnel, but also the entirety of Ghanaians. And we believe we are the use of the new law on publication of falsehood is gradually being used for the unintended purpose. We do not think that that is the law as it was couched was targeted at any other form of false publication. It was specific in its intent, and now it is being used to literally tag almost everyone who makes a false information. I think that's a misuse and misinformation. In fact, it's a complete misuse of that law, and we do not think it's the most appropriate thing to do. We think seriously that we have to look at the intent of the law carefully and ensure that we achieve the object for which that particular that provision was set out. We do not think that, we are getting to the stage where literally if you do not take care and you make any comment that amounts to falsehood, whether directly or indirectly, whether deliberate or otherwise, even if it is a domestic, you could be falling foul of this particular law. And that is not the intention of this law. The intention of the law was clearly stated in the preamble, and indeed also in the aspect of the. Even if you read the law, you could clearly see that it was targeted at comments that could trigger the security of this nation to be in jeopardy, not necessarily any comment that amounts to falsehood. That is not the intention of this particular act. That particular provision of the law, and the way the government is using it now is really scary. is very scary. We all have to be worried about it.
Very shortly, we'll get the response of the Deputy Defense Minister on that. But you're a lawyer yourself, without prejudice to the case before court. Were you expecting in the first place that Oliver Barker-Vormawor, who's also a lawyer, would go to the extent of using the word coup, quote unquote?
I think we indeed addressed that matter by stating categorically that not just is Oliver a lawyer, he has also played a significant role in I believe the Constitutional Review Commission's work, and he's I understand he's also a researcher in law. Clearly, Oliver is a quality resource, that a good material that we can benefit from in this country, and I believe he has been doing so much, particularly using the Fix the Country movement. He's a very solid material that I think we can rely on, and it is indeed based on that particular background alone that I least expected that Oliver would make any comment close to a coup or anything that would amount to throwing away the Constitution that gives him the right to even make those comments in the first place. I think he's way above the kind of comment that he made. I think it's a low moment for me for him to have made those comments. However unlawful or justifiable he thinks they are, I didn't expect that.
Right. And if you just hold the lines for us briefly, obviously you're concerned about the implications for national security as well, but I want to bring in the Deputy Defense Minister, Kofi Amankwa-Manu, who's also on with us. So initially the line went off when you were making the point about how government is rather protecting free speech. How so?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, so we can hear you now.
Yes. Yes, I listened to the last speaker, and I agreed with him on some of the concerns he made. But I think that where I disagree with him is where he is suggesting that the government is seeking to use the law to, as you said, to crack down on free speech. I think that many people, if you go on social media, if you go on radio and all the posts.
Kofi Amankwa-Manu, if you can hear me, it appears that we're having difficulty hearing you, but if you could just go ahead and make the point one more time. Let's see if the lines will be fair. Well, so Brownson, give us an update on this before we come back to Justice Abdullahi. What can you say about the status of Oliver Barker-Vormawor, who's the leader of your group, Fix the Country? We understand that is on a hunger strike. How true is that, and how is that really affecting him?
Okay, great. So that is repeatedly, that is the information we also got when some of our members visited, that he's been on hunger strike from the time of his abduction or arrest till now. For now, he's been touched, and then he would have to come back to court or reappear in court on the 28th of February. So I think for now, we would have to sit back with our lawyers and then devise means on how to handle issues. Now, our main concern here is the clear breach of the laws on detention of persons in public, in police custody. Okay, we are very much worried. You know, this is exposing our democracy and our Syrian system, because we are not saying the police shouldn't do their work. No. We understand that the police would have to do whatever they have to do. But in doing that, that should be done professionally, and I think everyone is talking about that. And also, we will beseech that if we all are concurring that the rule of law, which states that the law should be applied equally and fairly, then I think everyone who have ever made any comment that amounts to a certain crime should be, or that disturbs the tranquility of this nation, should be picked up for investigation, and then they should also be arraigned before court.
What does this arrest mean to the movement? Are you going to slow down on your activism?
No, this is in no way affecting our activism. I think it's a better lesson for us, and then for the whole group, and then the Ghanaian populace as well. It is exposing a lot of things. It's exposing the rot in the system, because we've seen some unprofessionalism over the days, over these few days, and it's exposing a lot on our democracy. You know, when we say democracy, democracy is not only about free and fair elections, but it's about how we apply justice to issues and as well. So I think this has rather come to strengthen the group, and then we seek a better system for Ghana, not to collapse the system or not to preach war. We rather want the best for this nation. I think that is what it has come to do.
Okay, Brownson, one more criticism that we often hear of, the claim that you are becoming increasingly extreme as a group. You're making demands that are going beyond the norms and the remits of the Constitution. Is that the case, that the Fix the Country movement is gradually becoming a group of radical persons?
No. I think over the days or over the months since our activism started or campaign started, we've shown or proved to Ghanaians that we are law-abiding citizens, and we are also working within the remit of the law. If not, we would have done a whole lot of things that are not expected. But we've been together, and what we are only asking for is that the leadership is not taking us serious. It's not taking Ghanaians serious. You know, in as much as we understand that this is a representative government, therefore the voice of the people should matter a lot. But this is not what is happening. It is the other way around. And that is what we want fixed. We want a new Ghana and a fixed system, a system that will project a better democracy to the world.
Brownson, we'll get back to you. Justice Abdullahi will also tell us about the implications from the perspective of the One Ghana movement. I understand now that the Deputy Defense Minister is joining us now on phone. We're having challenges earlier with a Zoom connection. Let's see if that will be better now. Hello, sir. So let's touch on the implications for national security. What's the strategy really from the Defense Ministry in de-escalating the situation? The concern for a lot of security experts is that if you do not handle the Fix the Country movement properly, there is a likelihood that they may take inspiration from what's happening in the sub-region. What are you doing about this? Yes, and for you, Justice Abdullahi, you were talking about the implications for national security, if we could hear you.
Hello?
Yes, Justice, you can go ahead with the point.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Your line dropped.
Yes, Justice, I was asking about the implications for national security. You pointed out in your statement that if we do not take care, that could become a challenge for us.
Indeed. I don't know whether you can hear me.
Yes, go ahead. Yes. Okay, so let's try now Kofi Amankwamenu. Hello, sir. So we had a challenge earlier, but I'm just asking about the national security strategy. What it is that you're doing at the Defense Ministry to deal with the concerns that if you do not take care, the Fix the Country movement could become a group of extreme persons, and they may take inspiration from what's happening in the sub-region?
First of all, I believe in the professionalism of the Ghana police. I believe in the professionalism of our courts. I don't think that the courts will go out of their way to interpret the law differently. I believe that they will do the right thing. And from the Ministry of Defense point of view, we are looking closely at issues as they come up, and then we will devise strategies to deal with such issues. I believe that every Ghanaian has a right, but we must also know that every right comes with a responsibility, and nobody is prepared to trample upon anybody's right. But what we will do is to protect, and that I have often said that I have so much confidence in the Ghana Armed Forces. They will protect and defend the constitution of our country and make sure that every Ghanaian goes about his or her duties in peace. We want a united Ghana, and I don't think that anybody is out there to kind of get at anybody. No. We are monitoring the situation, and as and when they come up, we will devise strategy to deal with. But again, I respect that the police and our courts will do the right thing.
Earlier, when you granted an interview on JoyNews, you then proceeded to talk about the opposition party, the NDC. Why connect the NDC to all that's happening in the country now?
Well, it depends. I don't know in what context that you are saying I connected the NDC.
For
I had
instance,
a program and I was interviewed.
Yes, precisely. For instance, you go ahead to talk about the General Secretary of the party for
because I was making reference to what the General Secretary said.
Right.
That had to do with Parliament. That if they were going to take slaps to prevent the Deputy Speaker of Parliament from voting, they would do that. That is, I think, what I commented on, and said that the Parliament is not a boxing arena. If really Parliament were to be a boxing arena, I don't think I have the muscles to go to Parliament. We go to Parliament to judge or disagree to agree, so we can push the Ghana agenda forward. But if the General Secretary, who also happens to be a member of the Parliamentary Service Board, saying that if they will have to take slap to prevent the Deputy Speaker from voting, I think that really was below the belt. That was an unfortunate statement coming from such a personality. I think that is what I think.
And just as we wrap up on this conversation, how would you assure Ghanaians that all of these recent happenings will not further escalate and that the country is safe and secure?
First of all, I have already said that I believe in the loyalty, I believe in the professionalism, I believe in the commitment of the Ghana Armed Forces. And the Ghana Armed Forces will do everything possible to protect our country and protect our constitution. Again, I respect the professionalism, as I said, of the police and the court. And I believe they will do the right thing. We want a peaceful country. I can assure every Ghanaian that they can go about their normal duty because the army is prepared to do that for which they are there to do. And so nobody should be afraid that we're going to have problems. You see, sometimes we say that things are happening in the sub-region, and so yes, things are happening in the sub-region. We are monitoring all the happenings in the sub-region, and you see, the circumstances are different. Really, the circumstances are different. And so nobody should be afraid to think that it has happened in Burkina, it has happened in Mali, Guinea, and so we are sitting down doing nothing. We are monitoring, all the intelligence agencies are monitoring all the happenings in the sub-region. And so Ghana is well protected. Our men in uniform are prepared to defend this country.
I'm grateful. Kofi Amankwa-Manu is the Deputy Defense Minister. Give an update on one of the activists of the Fix the Country movement, because the Asokwa District Court has expressed concern over the prosecution's handling of a case in which 3 persons are standing trial over the murder of social media activist Ibrahim Mohammed, also known as Kaka. The presiding judge, Kia Edu Boaheng, wondered why it took the prosecution several months to get the AG's office to advise on the case. It comes as the lead prosecutor, Chief Superintendent Kofi Blagoji, failed to show up in court over ill health. Husseini Al-Hassan, Isaka Ibrahim, also known as Anyas, and also some known members of the New Patriotic Party executives are standing trial over the case since June last year. Now, my colleague, Ohimin Tewia, who was in court, joins us with more on this. So, Ohimin, if you can hear me, first of all, why is the judge worried about what's happening in court?
Thank you, my brother. This has been a trend ever since the 3 suspects were brought to court when they made their maiden appearance in court on July 2nd, 2021. Prosecution all this while have been telling the court that it has forwarded the docket to AG's office. The AG's advice in this matter is of concern because they believe that it could call for either prosecution or court prosecution of the 3 suspects. 2 of them we know are NPP polling station executives in Nigeria, and then the 3rd accused person also being a brother of the late Ibrahim Mohammed, also known as Kaka Mecho. So on December 10, 2021, the presiding magistrate, her lady, Kia Edu Boaheng, expressed a similar concern, and she was not happy that the prosecution, for instance, the lead prosecutor was not in court, and that it has delayed the court proceedings unduly. So today, when the case was also called, the lead prosecutor was not in court, only to be, someone has to take the brief on his behalf. So the presiding judge also raised concerns that she's not happy with the way prosecution is handling the case because it delays the court procedure, and that is why she expressed these concerns.
So Ohiming, let's hear what transpired in court today, and then we can take on other issues about the family and what more concerns they have.
We should go. All right. Yes, Nephew, we know that the convener of the movement has been leading a campaign for justice for your departed or your late brother, Kaka. We are learning of his latest remand by a court. What's going through your mind as a family?
Thank you very much for this moment. Actually, the family is not taking it easy at all regarding his arrest. Actually, on that fateful Friday, I was in Accra waiting for him. So I had a call from him that he's coming to Ghana, so I should meet him latest around 6 p.m. So I was in Accra that fateful Friday, only to be told by Felicity within the evening that he has been absconded by the police or an armed man. So I was not happy at all, but what can I do? This is a state we find ourselves. So I was following the case till date. Actually, I'm very interested in the case regarding that of Oliver Baka because he is our family lawyer and a lead counsel. Although he has never appeared in court regarding our case, but he leads the cause. All the lawyers are aware that he is their lead counsel. So the family is not taking it easy, but as there are other lead counsel with him in the Fix the Country and in general the movement, we are sure the good Lord, that Almighty Allah, will sail him through, because we are of the view that it's because of the activism and the comment he passed through Facebook his wall that might have resulted in this. But we are hopeful that the right thing will be done.
How do you foresee future engagements, looking at his latest, remand in custody? How do you foresee future engagements?
Actually, we are not mad. We are bothered as a family because of the kind of engagement. I can tell you that every day I have discussion with him on phone. Totally, in terms of finance, a lot of activity. He has been helping the family a lot. The family is going to miss him with this short time. But it's not going to be easy. But I tell you, the other lawyers I know are up to the task, and we will sail through.
But what do you think about how the case is going? The fact that it has been adjourned again and the age is advancing?
Actually, we were shocked by the development in court today. So as I said, around the hours of 2:20, I was at a meeting at Accra with AG's office. I was at AG's office with all the families, all the affected families in Nigeria, the injured, the deceased. Everybody, we were at a meeting with AG on Friday. So from the meeting, at the conclusion of the meeting, we had, because I posed a question to the rep, to the AG, asking him why is the case still pending for almost 8 months. We were told that the advice will be ready and proceedings or the advice will be ready in court today for committals to start. So I was shocked in court when it was said that the advice is not in. So actually, I don't actually know. Something is wrong somewhere. Why is the advice not ready in court? That's in the court.
Well, Oliver, I should say, Ohiming is still on with us. Ohiming, and you had the family there indicating that Oliver Baka Vomo appears to be one of the lawyers for Ibrahim Kaka's family. We understand that they're also raising some concerns about his arrest. What more can you say about that?
Regarding his
has been the lead counsel for the family, and not that he advises the family or helps them with legal, support, but he also remakes the family every point in time. So the family says his arrest, they are not taking it lightly, and they believe that it will affect the family, his absence within this period in which he has been remanded into police custody will go a long way to affect the family. The family's spokesperson, Nafiu Mohammed, told myself and other colleague journalists who were in court today that even on the Friday that he was arrested, he was expected to meet the convener of the Fix the Country movement. But later in the day, then word got to him that he has been at the airport. So it tells you the kind of bond that exists between the convener of the Fix the Country movement and then the Kaka Macho's family, to the extent that he's been part of the family, helping them with the legal support in all activities, and also continue to remit the family. So the family says they are concerned and they are equally worried, and they believe that Mr. Oliver was actually arrested because of his activism and the Facebook post he made, and that is why he has been picked up. But they expect, as in his own words,
Ohiming, thank you for giving us the latest. But we can now listen to spokesperson of the family.
To Ghana, so I should meet him latest around 6 p.m. So I was police or an armed man. Although he has never appeared in court regarding our case, but he leads the cause. All the lawyers are aware that he is their lead counsel. So the family is not taking it easy, but as there are other lead counsel with him in the Fix the Country and in general the movement, we are sure the good Lord, that's Almighty Allah, will sail him through. Because we are of the view that it's because of the activism and the comment he passed through Facebook his wall that might have resulted in this. But we are hopeful that the right thing will be done. We are bothered as a family because of the kind of engagement. I can tell you that every day I have discussion with him on phone. Totally, in terms of finance, a lot of activity. He has been helping the family a lot. The family is going to miss him with this short time.
Well, we can now take you up north because Chief of Lamashego Na Ziblim Mahama is demanding the immediate release of 6 people arrested in his palace following clashes between the angry youth of the area and the police on Sunday. The police is said to have attempted to arrest a man who had refused to stop at a police checkpoint. The suspect allegedly drove through a police checkpoint and sought refuge at the Lamashego Palace with the police on his heels, firing gunshots at him. The youth of the town, upon watching the scene, pelted stones at the Ghana Police Service and burnt car tires in the middle of the road, forcing the police to bring in reinforcement to disperse visibly the angry youth. While addressing a regional security committee meeting earlier today, Chief of Lamashego said the police cannot continue to disrespect the traditional authorities. Let's now bring you the latest from our northern regional correspondent, Martina Bugri, who joins us live via Zoom. Martina, so if you're with us, first of all, what's the general mood in the area as we speak?
One would say that anger, the people are very angry because they think that they have been taken for granted. Anytime there is any disturbance, the end result is somebody is either dead or injured. And so they think that it is about time that this what they describe as needless brutalities end. And so when you speak to people in the region or in the town, the sense you get is that they are very angry that these things continue to happen in the area.
We understand that the police have interdicted 6 police officers involved in the shooting incident. What more can you tell us about that?
Yes, we are told that 6 officers were interdicted, and we are also told that a team of officers are coming from the headquarters to join the regional command to continue investigations. That's what the mayor of Tamale told the chief this morning when they met him at his palace. And he says that they would ensure that the government would ensure that they bring this to its logical conclusion. The chief, who was very angry at what had happened, said it has happened not once, not twice, several times in the region. Total disrespect for authority in the area, because he said he was outside his palace with some elders when the police officers entered the place. He said they started shooting, and he came down to ask what was happening, only to be told that the guy was riding an unlicensed vehicle, and that's why he was being pursued and happened to be shot. And so he ordered that they send the gentleman to the hospital. He said, but for his intervention, the youth who were in the mosque and just came, I was very angry for the disrespect shown him. He had to intervene to help rescue the 2 police officers into his chambers whilst he called for reinforcement. He says that the team that came at first could not handle this.
Martina, so if you can hear me, we understand that this is not the only clash that we're hearing of within the northern regional area. What's the latest one that we are also learning of as well?
Situation, because the youth were very upset, and so they had to call for. So, like as I was saying, so he says that these things continue to happen in the area, and it's about time they stop it. But he made a passionate appeal. He says that it is about time they stop a protocol when it comes to recruitment to the security sector. He believes that protocol and people go in and they are half trained because the authorities are unable to discipline them because of the people who are able to push them into the service. He also said that there's so much politics in the security system, and so he's calling for a dialogue to decouple politics and protocol from the recruitment of officers into the country's service. This morning, we spoke with the family of Abdul Hakim, who passed on. We are told that he's an 18-year-old graduate who's waiting for his results. He just finished junior high school. He was with his friends on the field playing football when the incident happened. And so he was gunned down during the process. The father was very, very grieving indeed. He could not hold back his tears. He kept on crying and walked off the scene. We are told that they'll be meeting today to discuss some of the things that are coming up and how they can address it.
Martina, it appears you missed the earlier question I was asking about the recent clashes that we're also learning of, aside the one that you're reporting of.
Yes, we had one at Napanzo where police officers beat up people who had tapped the power illegally, and they were brutalized. Where the videos went viral and people condemned. Some officers were interdicted in that process. And there was another incident where some police officers chased somebody into the Yana's palace and then arrested the person. And there was another incident at the Changle where the police arrived there at dawn, and then they arrested some people. We are told that there were some excesses. And so he brought out some of these things as incidents that have happened in the area that they have not seen the conclusion, because normally it happens and then after the noise dies down, it ends like that. And so he's calling for a thorough investigation, and he wants everything made public so that at the end they do not shield anybody in the process.
Martina Bugre, I'm grateful for the latest updates you're giving us, but let's have a conversation on this matter. Joining us now is a security analyst, Adib Sani, who has more insight into all of these that's happening and can provide us with some analysis on this. First of all, the Police is once more clashing with civilians, and it's not quite a good picture. What's your reading into all of these incidents that we are seeing up north?
Well, I mean, the area this incident happened is not far from where I stay, in Tamale. From Lamashegu, you get to Lamakra before you get to Zuguli, where I actually stay. I've had the opportunity to speak with some few people on the ground, and it is very much in line with what Martina said. People are angry, the chiefs are angry, and everybody is anxiously waiting to see what would become of the investigation. But it's important also we put some few issues into perspective. There's always a tendency of officers who stay to new areas they've never been before, areas before where they actually come from, and not understanding the norms, the way of life of the people in that regard. For example, we are a people that hold in high esteem our chiefs, okay? And so the police might not appreciate that fact, and a criminal would, let's say, for example, like it happened in the case of the Yana's palace, someone would run into a chief's palace. You would expect that you would wait outside and the chief would hand over the suspect to you. But for you to chase the person into the chief's palace is a great deal of disrespect. So far as our values is concerned.
Adib Sani, I'm sorry I would have to cut in at this point, but we understand that the law is not a respecter of persons. That's what the law says.
No, it's no respecter of persons, but you have to take into consideration the cultural setting in which you find yourself. Because mind you, there's absolutely no way the police can do their work without these people. Most of the intelligence they get, most of the tip-offs are from the people. That is why it's important to engender your relationship with the locals based on mutual trust and respect. So collaboratively, you can improve security in the area. But when you have people in that area feeling that you are strangers, you are not representing their interests, you are disrespecting them, trust me, you cannot operate under such circumstances. Yesterday, I listened to the divisional police commander who categorically said that, look, the mob was after them. It is the chief who harbored them, and they even had to call the FPU to come rescue them. So you can imagine if the chief was like the other individuals there, what would have become of the situation? So I think it's important they harness that relationship with the locals, so collaboratively they will be able to work together.
At least the harm is done. Are there any immediate remedial measures that could be pursued by the Ghana Police Service to de-escalate the tension there?
Absolutely. I've spoken with people on the ground, and one word is common on their lips: justice, justice, justice. And the actions of the Ghana Police Service in coming out with the information on the interdiction, I think, is one giant step in the right direction. But it doesn't end there. The investigation has to be quick because most of the facts that can be established doesn't have to take months. It can take hours. It has to be transparent. And hopefully, we don't end up with another case similar to the Zongo guys who were killed somewhere near Kumasi. In the end, money was paid to the families, and I don't want to believe it will be business as usual this time around. Ejura, almost the same thing happened. In the end, monies were paid, and we think that is it. I'm hoping that this time around, if they find some level of culpability, the officers will be able to face the full rigors of the law. So at least it serves two purposes. One, it will send a clear message to officers to the effect that the uniform doesn't grant you invincibility, and that if you do the wrong thing, you'll be held to account. And the same thing would be applied to their other colleagues who would learn lessons. On the other hand, the population would also trust the process and feel that, yes, indeed, justice will be served. So we chart a new course so far as that police-civil relations is concerned. If not, we would have situations when a police officer would go into a certain area to effect arrest, and the people might come out to protect the criminal against even the police officer. So I think the investigation is key, and hoping that going forward, we take a closer look at the police training program to go beyond just teaching them the marksmanship bit of it, but how to de-escalate situation, because a lot of the cases that has come in the media that involves police brutalizing civilians is got to do with lack of experience or perhaps training, because in many situations there are ways to de-escalate the situations. But I've seen videos when police officers are in heated exchange of words and remove their guns. To do what? Okay, so I think the training should involve a lot more of the democratic, policing bit.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but looking at the situation up north, it appears that there are increasing reports of clashes between the security agencies and civilians. And while there are also other inter-ethnic confrontations that are happening in that part of the country, is that of security concern to you from your readings and analysis into all that's happening there?
Well, to be honest, this is not peculiar to only the North. I mean, in recent times, we've had cases of police clashing with journalists. Just recently, a Connect FM reporter was brutalized because he took videos of some police officers at a chop bar. We also had another journalist brutalized, and in the end, they said he was tampering with evidence at the police station. We've had a catalog, a series of such brutalization, which is not just constricted to the North, but nationwide. But I think in the midst of all of this, it's important we establish a certain fact. There's so much anger out there. A lot of people seem to be disenchanted, they seem to be frustrated. And I was telling a friend recently, look, the level of anger in the system, okay, makes it even unsafe for you to drive a big vehicle, because they feel that, hey, you are part of the political device, political class that is taking them for a ride. So that level of anger is making situations that could be solved diplomatically escalate, get vicious, and people end up dying. Okay, so this issue is bigger than police chasing someone to shoot at. Okay, it has a lot to do with certain deep-seated socio-economic issues we are currently going through in that country that is pushing people into uncertainty, and that is keeping them very angry. And the least trigger, the least provocation, they jump on it and things, go haywire. So this is much deeper than it appears. So it's really worth looking into from the other perspective.
Adib Sani, I'm grateful for your time. Thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. And still to come, chocolate sales boom this Valentine's Day. We'll hear from some traders and shoppers who are upbeat about the season of love.
The chocolate business is really booming. It was slow last year, but sales this year is good.
And you're welcome back to The Pulse. Now, some players along the cashew value chain in the Volta region have expressed some reservations about the minimum producer price of raw cashew nuts for the 2022 crop season. Now, according to them, even though the move to regulate the producer price of the commodity is the right direction, the price as announced by the Tree Crop Development Authority will not favor most stakeholders. The cashew value chain players who spoke with JoyNews' Nesta Kafui Ajoma at Wenchi stated their readiness to actually comply with the 5% per kilogram for raw cashew nuts, but entreated government to consider a quick upward review.
During the later part of December last year, the Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture, Yao Frimpong Ado, announced the minimum producer price for raw cashew nuts as 5 Ghana cedis per kilogram in the Bono regional town of Wenchi. The announcement came after years of advocacy by major stakeholders in the cashew industry to get the sector regulated. Weeks after the announcement by the Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture, players along the cashew value chain are demanding a quick upward adjustment of the minimum producer price of raw cashew nuts, since the current 5 Ghana cedis per kilogram will be detrimental to their development.
Minimum price 5 cedis but in Shishayana, I'm the bata who say out in 48 in not count 190 no. Maybe to say match, a do match as out in your hyena, and I am not crana. I was say price na same 5 cities until catch boni need to say minimum price 5 cities na out in 48 out in 48 no the price and I was say above 5 cities and this say aban be hye bi wo ho a and was say or this out in hye no e ka ho ana say or the not count hye no e ka ho abroad this price we no e be bata ho e ba sa na yeso emboaye because that time no ye full assure say ye benya sa out no plus not count no if you cry nya na e say nka sa price no e 5 cities ba odi to boni ni tim say e wo say otono 5 cities ni ntino bon say no so otono 5 cities e ba sa so a na e kotia yeah
oh price no dey to be frank MY because first na ye turn no ye turn first no na 3 cities 4 cities 5 cities boni ngina fa enti last year ever first required 55 no to my team said this year ban so obamu dey more than 5 cities no enti obi bu ye kwase aban wo beje na also 5 cities ni pande man no na wa be ye ho mra say 5 cities no dey a enti e mo ye kura dike more than 5 cities kura ka ye dey ma ya for kasa man for ntiase no ai koko season kura na government na dey ma koko for omo pause na omo dibo spray bibia government ma koko for well, you would decide for about 400,000. The Yakobo spray need 400. As I the Yakobo to Suamano. Well, the government say, as about cashew, I won't say cashew, the annoying cashew, no, and yet easy. The son no man who say, Prass na Sanuana, or Morgan is a cashew about cashew about almost 4 years. As I went to 4 years, one name market. Well, into a month is over das, yes, a bear cashew, no, no, but baby. The Slapper say, Price na the offer being kind on that's MY
never a photo cry going to say cashew no ufa badeni at the kofuma what 350 you decide na able spino na 450 na says kanwa if as o chakoto no wo check ya na say cashew ni baba no wo di be hwa o masku wo di be santo bibia di wo di be hwa o abusuafo na say price na say aba no di ma say facility ni die me fi say I am akuafo no enti akuafo no obia gu so o ka ho asem never say because abanye bibi mai na facilities ni de emwe kwan bia so.
Players along the cashew value chain, including farmers and traders, say they are hopeful that the 2021-2022 crop season will be favorable to them, but they are waiting patiently for a review of the current minimum producer price of the raw cashew nuts. For JoyNews, Nesta Kafui Ajuna reporting.
Well, let's now take you to the Volta Region. The whole municipal assembly is determined to protect the environmentally friendly status of the municipality, which has actually won them many accolades. The assembly would therefore prosecute persons who engage in unsanitary activities and set fire to bushes in the municipality. The whole MCE, Divine Bosu, said this. The assembly will liaise with the security services to track down and arrest perpetrators, arraign and ensure they are punished accordingly. He was speaking at the coronation and outdoor ceremony of the Taviepe Aviepe Dufia, that's Togbi Agba Aholu.
The newly installed Dutofia of Taviepe Aviepe Togbe Agba Aholu III is a health practitioner. He hopes to contribute his quota to restore the Taviepe traditional area's past glory and called for a peaceful coexistence.
Mina bemia deso aba America le Taviepe.
We must be united and work towards the common good of Taviepe. We need development.
Mia pa apeli kao le gbede. Omega nye futo enemy.
Our neighbors should not be seen as our enemies, but people we can unite with to develop the Taviepe, Ziavi, Klepe, Mache, and Lume enclave.
Keke abe Taviepe, Ziavi, Klepe, Mache, Lume kple eto de. Be nova kuli ato to ho ke do to megbele fi de. Wanya be judo le, amerocho le. The
Home Municipal Chief Executive, Divine Bossen, lamented activities of environmental degradation. Who has been identified as the cleanest city in Ghana.
nya ehon tomatowe kom enye nya pemse miga nse evaluate nya sia UNESCO to declare mi be
UNESCO also described Ho as the oxygen city, which means that you will live long when living in Ho. But the unwarranted burning of bushes threatens the vegetation of Ho. The assembly will set drones and detail security officers at areas identified to be experiencing bushfires. Perpetrators will be arrested and prosecuted. Fred Kwame Asari, JoyNews, Aviepe.
And thanks for staying with us here on The Pulse. Now, the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, is appealing to philanthropists and organizations willing to assist the victims of the Apiati disaster to assess their needs for donations to meet their critical needs. According to NADMO, which is managing the Apiati relief camp, a variety of staples such as maize, beans and tubers, amongst others, will greatly help. Natalia Kwanzaa has more in the following report.
Corporate entities and some individuals have since the Apiati disaster 3 weeks ago have in various ways gone to the aid of the victims with relief and food items to make life comfortable for them. One food item which has dominated the donations is rice. Though a good gesture, NADMO, managers of the relief, believe a variety of food items will greatly help as the people are not used to the regular consumption of rice.
Even the food items, the rice were more. We had more rice, and right now we need some maize, we need some beans, we need some gari, we need some yams, we need some smoked fish, so that they can have a balanced diet. It's like most of the donors who are coming are donating rice, and that one we appeal to the community, the general community, corporate bodies, to help us in that regard, in terms of maize, in terms of oil, in terms of yam, beans, so that the people here, most of the economics were cooking of kinky, and so if they bring us maize, I mean, it will be a lot of help to us.
The camp manager, Mr. Bright J, was therefore excited when Western Industries Limited, a Takrady-based company, donated some tubers of yam, gari, maize, beans, granuts, and dried fish, among others, worth 70,000 Ghana cedis to the people. He said it will be appropriate if NADMO is consulted on the needs of the victims before donations are made. Mr. J also appealed for more tents to house the adult males who are still being sheltered in a hostel at Bogoso, thus separating them from their families.
Right now, we've separated some of the people here. Some of them, especially the male adults, at Golden Hotel, because our tents are not enough to house. Even with this, the recommended persons that are supposed to occupy one tent, we've exceeded the limit. What we are lacking here is canopies, the tents, I should say. Minerals Commission came to our aid about 5 days ago with some help, including the tent, but that's not enough. And so we are still calling on partners, the general community, Ghanaians, to help us, corporate bodies. They should come to our aid so that we can move those who are separated from their family back to the camp.
The managing director of Western Industries Limited, Mr. Farouk Barike, said the people need the support of all Ghanaians and promised to rally his friends and associates to the aid of the victims, saying this should never happen.
People who have been displaced, and we thought it proper to assist in our small way. So I managed to get some few items because we didn't know much of their need. I'm grateful to the regional boss of the Minerals Commission who assisted me, directed me also to get some few items and then have a visit myself to come and have a look at the situation here and how best we can also extend our assistance in the near future, and also communicate with other body and friends in Western Region and Accra to come to the assistance of the people, to at least lift part of the agony and the suffer they are suffering.
The company also presented drinks and cash to the regents of Apiate, as well as cash to the NADMO officials who are managing the camp for their sacrifices. For Joy News in Athalia Kwanza, Apiate.
Well, let's bring you some developments within the legal profession. Irresponsible, unprofessional, and distasteful. Those are the words by the Ghana Bar Association, GBA, to describe their disappointment in Francis Xavier Soso MP for Medina over comments he made concerning judges. The human rights lawyer, during a protest staged by the opposition National Democratic Congress last Tuesday, was captured on tape making claims that the tenure of office of the so-called political judges is tied to the tenure of the political regime under which they are appointed, and further added that political judges will be treated politically. While reacting to these comments by Mr. Soso, the Ghana Bar Association has issued a statement, and we could just read that to you. The Ghana Bar Association has noted with disquiet and grave disappointment the assertion by Francis Xavier Soso Esquire that some judges are political judges, quote and unquote. The said assertion by Francis Xavier Soso, Member of Parliament for the Medina constituency, was made during an interview he granted in the media and is contained in a video that is available on social media. In the interview, lawyer Francis Xavier Soso seemed to have suggested that the tenure of office of judges is tied to the tenure of political regimes under which judges are appointed, and further that, quote, political judges will be treated politically. He also said the political judges will lose their offices when the political regimes whose bidding such judges do are no longer in power. The Ghana Bar Association finds the assertion by Francis Xavier Soso Esquire very unprofessional, unfortunate, irresponsible, and distasteful, and seems marks of deep-seated ignorance as the tenure of judges per the Constitution 1992 and other relevant laws is never in any way whatsoever tied to the tenure of the political regime under which judges are appointed. Judges, unlike political office holders, are not elected into office. Hence, it is reckless for anybody to give the slightest suggestion that the tenure of judges are linked to the tenure of the political regimes under which judges are appointed. The statement goes ahead to talk about the fact that the legal profession, which is the Professional Conduct and Etiquette, Rules 2020 LI 2423, forbids a lawyer from making a statement about judicial and legal officials which the lawyer knows to be false or with reckless disregard for its truths or falsity concerning the qualification and integrity of judicial and legal officials. Now, Rule 52 of LI 2423 provides, and they give a breakdown of the very statement that we have. We'll bring you excerpts of that statement as we move along, but these are just some of the details of the response from the Ghana Bar Association on the statements made by Francis Xavier Soso, who is Member of Parliament for Medina. Fortunately, we'll be having him respond to it. Well, we don't have him on the lines now, but as we wait for that response from the MP, we also do know that today is Valentine's Day as well. So Valentine's Day is celebrated annually to affirm love and affection to partners, family and friends. But the season also offers sales opportunity for traders to maximize profits by stocking items in the red flavor. Anita Sewa, Ajogan reports chocolates are featuring prominently in the sale of Valentines, especially in the Kumasi area. Take a listen to this report.
Apart from red clothing, flowers, teddy bears and wine, chocolates are among the favorite items of gifting among Ghanaians in celebrating Valentine's Day. Since 2007, Ghana has celebrated Valentine's Day as National Chocolate Day to promote the consumption of chocolates and other cocoa products among the population. The idea has caught on with Ghanaians as many buy chocolates and other cocoa products for their loved ones. Ajua Benedicta, a trader, is cashing in on the season by selling chocolates.
Chocolates journey the or more on a camera.
The chocolate business is really booming. It was slow last year, but sales this year is good.
Other traders say customers often request the inclusion of chocolates in Valentine hampers.
All my customers want chocolates included in their hampers.
Because the chocolates are Valentine.
A number of businesses take advantage of the season of love to make good profits from the sale of packaged Valentine gifts. Some businesswomen who spoke to Love Business News say discounted prices on preferred products help increase sales.
For Valentine's Day, people prefer that I probably give a 20 or 30% discount rather than a hamper. Then the person chooses what she wants.
It's the season of love, and I'm right here in the Central Business District to find out how traders are planning to celebrate Valentine's Day. So join me and let's find out.
It's a Valentine Day. Come on, Maya. And
Valentine's is for the young folks. I have never celebrated Valentine's Day. We will celebrate the Valentine's Day in the market.
And that's a wristwatch.
No matter it takes to buy it for me, I will collect it because I know any force to say ABR for ABM.
How are you celebrating Valentine's Day? Well, love is in the air. For JoyNews, Anita Sewa Ajoga reporting.
Well, I guess all we can say is happy Valentine's Day from us here, the team at JoyNews. But don't forget that we have more stories coming your way. This is The Pulse. Stay with us. Well, it's a wrap for The Pulse on Valentine's Day. Don't forget that while you celebrate, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. That's where we have all the updates on our running stories for you. It's been such a pleasure serving you all the latest. We have more coming your way on the JoyNews channel.